Legends, mysteries, and restless spirits. Every state has its secrets. Today, we're venturing into the eerie and unexplained as we uncover the top 10 haunted spots in Alabama.
Alabama's history is steeped in war, tragedy, and the supernatural. From Civil War hospitals to ghostly plantations, here are the 10 most haunted places in Alabama. Harrison Cemetery is a small yet historically significant burial ground in Kinston, Alabama, and it's become infamous for its chilling ghost stories. Established in the late 1800s, the cemetery was originally a family burial site for the Harrisons, a prominent local family who were among the earliest settlers in the area. Over time, it expanded to include the graves of other local residents, many of whom were victims of tragic events, illnesses, and even violent conflicts. The cemetery is said to house the remains of Confederate soldiers, farmers, and children who succumbed to diseases like yellow fever in the 19th and early 20th century. Harrison Cemetery has become a hotspot for paranormal investigators and thrill seekers thanks to its numerous ghostly sightings and inexplicable occurrences. One of the most famous hauntings is the ghost of a young girl, often seen wearing a white dress. Witnesses claim to see her wandering among the gravestones, her face obscured, before she vanishes into the mist. According to local lore, she may have been the victim of an untimely death, possibly from an accident or illness, and her spirit remains bound to the cemetery. Visitors also report hearing voices calling out from the woods that surround the cemetery. These voices are sometimes accompanied by the faint sound of children's laughter, even when no one else is around. Several people have claimed to see ghostly figures standing near the older grave sites, dressed in clothing from the 19th century, and they seem to disappear when approached. One of the most unsettling legends involves the Watcher of Harrison Cemetery, a shadowy figure that is said to guard the cemetery. Some describe it as a tall, dark apparition that lingers near the tree line, while others claim it follows visitors as they explore the area. Those who have encountered the Watcher often report feelings of overwhelming dread and an unshakable sense of being unwelcome. Hell's Gate Bridge is an unassuming and weathered steel structure spanning the Chocoloco Creek in Oxford, Alabama, but it's shrouded in local lore and supernatural mystery. The most well-known story involves a young couple who are said to have perished on the bridge in the 1950s. According to legend, the couple's car veered off the bridge and plunged into the creek below. Tragically, both passengers drowned in the accident. Since then, their restless spirits are said to haunt the bridge. The name Hell's Gate Bridge comes from one of its chilling legends. If you stop on the bridge at night, turn off your car's engine, and look behind you, it is said that the road will appear to transform into the fiery gates of hell. Witnesses describe seeing a hellish glow and hearing strange, unidentifiable sounds emanating from the surrounding woods and creek. Locals also speak of a phantom hitchhiker, a young woman in period clothing who appears near the bridge at night. Those who have offered her a ride claim she vanishes before reaching her destination, leaving behind a puddle of water on the car seat where she sat. This ghostly figure is believed to be one of the victims of the bridge's tragic history. Fort Morgan, located at the mouth of Mobile Bay in Gulf Shores, Alabama, is a historic coastal fort that has witnessed nearly 2 centuries of war, tragedy, and untimely deaths. Constructed between 1819 and 1834, the fort was designed to protect the vital waterway and played a key role in several major conflicts, including the Civil War. Fort Morgan is widely considered one of the most haunted locations in Alabama, with numerous reports of ghostly encounters and unexplained phenomenon. One of the most frequently seen apparitions is that of a Confederate soldier, often described as a shadowy figure pacing the fort's dark passageways. Witnesses have reported hearing disembodied footsteps, clanking chains, and even distant cries of pain echoing through the long abandoned barracks and tunnels. These experiences are often attributed to the soldiers who perished during the wars. Another well-known tale is that of a woman in white who has been spotted wandering the fort's grounds. According to local lore, she is the spirit of a woman who died tragically during the Civil War while searching for her husband, a Confederate soldier stationed at the fort. Her ghost is said to appear particularly on foggy nights, gliding silently along the ramparts and fading away as quickly as she appears. Sloss Furnaces, located in Birmingham, Alabama, is a historical industrial site that has long been associated with tragedy, death, and paranormal activity. Built in 1881, it was a massive iron-producing facility that played a pivotal role in Birmingham's development as a booming industrial city. The furnaces were notorious for its extreme heat, hazardous machinery, and lack of safety regulations, which claimed the lives of countless workers. The paranormal activity at the furnaces isn't intense as the industrial past is. Over the years, visitors, employees, and paranormal investigators have reported chilling experiences. One of the most infamous encounters involves the ghost of Slag Wormwood himself. People claim to see a shadowy figure resembling a man in a foreman's uniform, standing near the furnaces or walking along the catwalks. Others report hearing angry shouting or barking orders in a deep, gravelly voice, often when no one else is around. Workers have also described feeling an unseen force shove or push them, often near high walkways or dangerous areas of the site, leading some to speculate that Slag himself is continuing his reign of terror from beyond the grave. Cold spots, unexplained noises, and the sound of footsteps echo through the empty corridors, and these are frequently reported, especially at night. Another haunting involves the spirit of the workers who lost their lives in tragic accidents. Many visitors report hearing faint cries for help, moans, or even the clanging of metal, as if the furnaces are still in operation. Paranormal investigators captured EVPs of voices and screams here, and some have even claimed to see ghostly apparitions of the workers covered in soot and ash. The Redmond Hotel, located in the heart of Birmingham, Alabama, is a historic landmark steeped in Southern charm, elegance, and eerie legacy. Opened in 1925, the 14-story hotel was one of the first luxury accommodations in Birmingham, boasting modern amenities such as private bathrooms, air conditioning, and radios in every room. It quickly became a hotspot for the city's elite, hosting celebrities, politicians, and wealthy travelers. However, beneath its opulent facade lies a darker, more mysterious history, one that has earned the Redmond a reputation as one of Alabama's most haunted locations. Over the decades, the hotel has been the site of numerous untimely deaths, including accidents, illnesses, and even suicides. One of the most famous legends associated with the hotel is the spirit of a woman in white, believed to be a former guest or employee who met an untimely end within the hotel. Guests frequently report seeing her ghostly figure wandering the hallways, especially on the upper floors. She is often described as wearing a flowing white dress and exuding a sense of sadness or longing. Some claim she appears in mirrors, vanishing as quickly as she is seen. Other well-known hauntings here involve the ghost of a former owner, who is said to continue to oversee the property long after his death. Guests and staff have reported seeing a man in period clothing lingering in the lobby or near the elevators. This apparition is often accompanied by the faint scent of cigar smoke, even in non-smoking areas of the hotel. Many believe this spirit is keeping watch over the Redmond, ensuring it remains a symbol of Birmingham's historical elegance. The hotel's most chilling ghost story, however, involves the phantom cries of a dog. According to legend, a beloved canine companion of one of the hotel's long deceased owners passed away within the building and now haunts its halls. Guests have reported hearing the sound of a dog scratching at their door, barking or whining, even when no animals are present. Some even claim to feel a sudden brush against their legs as if a small dog is walking by. In addition to these specific hauntings, visitors frequently describe unexplained phenomena throughout the hotel. Lights flickering without explanation, objects moving on their own, and disembodied voices and whispers echoing through the empty hallways. Before we reveal the next haunted location on our list, we would love to hear from you. Have you visited any of our top 10 locations? What was your experience? Is there a location we missed? Comment below in the comment section. Sweetwater Mansion, located in Florence, Alabama, is an architectural marvel with a haunted past. Sweetwater Mansion has witnessed more than its fair share of sorrow. During the Civil War, it served as a hospital for Confederate soldiers, many of whom succumbed to their wounds. The family who owned the mansion also experienced numerous personal tragedies over the generations, with untimely deaths casting a shadow over the estate. The mansion's ghostly reputation is rooted in decades of unexplained encounters and eerie phenomena. One of the most famous stories involves the spirit of a Confederate soldier, often seen wandering the grounds and peering into the windows or out of the windows. It is believed that this restless spirit is tied to the suffering and death that occurred when the mansion was used as a makeshift hospital during the Civil War. Visitors report seeing shadowy figures in the hallways and hearing faint whispers of conversations in empty rooms, as if echoes of the past are replaying. Another chilling tale involves a bloodstain that reportedly cannot be removed. According to local legend, a murder occurred on the estate, and despite repeated efforts to clean the area, the bloodstain continues to reappear. This story has become one of the most talked about elements of this mansion's haunted lore. The basement of Sweetwater Mansion is said to be one of the most active areas for paranormal activity. Visitors often report feeling an overwhelming sense of dread, sudden cold spots, and even the sensation of being watched. Perhaps the most unsettling reports involve a phantom funeral. Witnesses have claimed to see an entire funeral procession, complete with mourners dressed in 19th century attire, taking place inside the mansion. The funeral reportedly vanishes as suddenly as it appears, leaving behind an eerie silence. Some speculate that this ghostly event is a replay of an actual funeral that once took place within the home's parlor, a common practice in the 1800s. The Old Bryce Hospital, located in Northport, Alabama, is a chilling relic of the past, known for its haunted history and ghostly legends. Originally opened in the mid-1800s as part of the Alabama Insane Hospital, later renamed Bryce Hospital, this facility was one of the first mental health institutions in the southeastern United States. And as time went on, overcrowding, underfunding, and allegations of abuse turned the Old Bryce into a place of darkness and suffering. Old Bryce Hospital's tragic history has given rise to numerous ghost stories and reports of paranormal activity. The building's long abandoned halls, crumbling infrastructure, and eerie silence set the stage for spine-chilling encounters. Visitors and trespassers often report hearing disembodied voices, screams, laughter, as though the spirits of former patients are still reliving their time within the hospital's walls. One of the most commonly reported apparitions is that of a shadowy figure, believed to be the spirit of a former patient or even staff member. This figure is often seen wandering the hallways or standing motionless in the distance before vanishing without a trace. Others have reported seeing ghostly faces peering out of the broken windows, or the feeling of the sensation of being watched even though they are alone. The Drish House, located in Tuscaloosa, Alabama, is a striking mansion with a storied past and a reputation for being one of the most haunted locations in the state. Built in 1837 by Dr. John R. Drish, a wealthy physician and plantation owner, the mansion's history is marred by tragedy, mystery, and untimely deaths, leading to countless tales of ghostly encounters. The Drish family's story is one of sorrow and despair. Dr. Drish, known for his success and influence, was also a man plagued by personal demons. After the death of his first wife, he married Sarah McKinney, and together they moved into the mansion with Sarah's children from a previous marriage. Drish developed a severe drinking problem, which strained his relationships, and this led to his downfall. The doctor's death in 1867 is shrouded in mystery. According to legend, he suffered a violent alcohol-fueled accident, falling to his death down the mansion's staircase. His sudden and dramatic passing marked the beginning of the house's eerie reputation. Sarah, deeply grieving her husband's death, reportedly became obsessed with planning her own funeral, insisting that it be grand and that candles from Dr. Drish's funeral be used for her funeral. However, when she passed away years later, her wishes were allegedly not fulfilled, leading some to believe her spirit lingers in the house, still longing for the ceremony she was denied. The Drish House is widely regarded as one of Alabama's most haunted locations, with reports of ghostly activity dating back decades. One of the most famous tales involves phantom lights in the tower at the top of the house, and locals have long claimed to see a mysterious glow emanating from this tower. The lights are often associated with Sarah Drish's unfulfilled funeral wishes, with some believing her restless spirit lights the candles that were meant for her honor. Other reports include unexplained noises such as footsteps on the staircase when Dr. Drish is said to have fallen to his death, and faint cries and whispers throughout the house. Visitors and former occupants have described the sensation of being watched, especially in the dark corners near the staircase. Shadowy figures have been seen moving throughout the halls. The house's parlor, where funerals for family members were once held, is another hotspot for paranormal activity. Some claim to hear the sound of faint music or hushed voices coming from this room, as though a long-forgotten gathering is taking place. Others report sudden cold spots and the feeling of sadness when entering certain spots of this mansion. Maple Hill Cemetery, located in Huntsville, Alabama, is the state's largest and oldest burial ground, with a history dating back to about 1822. Spanning over 100 acres, the cemetery is the final resting place for thousands of souls. Maple Hill Cemetery is known for various reports of ghostly encounters, but the most famous hauntings are tied to the Dead Children's Playground, a small park adjacent to the cemetery. This playground, nestled in a rocky hollow, has been the subject of chilling tales for decades. According to local legend, the area was once used as a burial site for children, though no official records can confirm this. Visitors often report seeing the swings move on their own, even on windless nights, and hearing the ghostly sounds of children laughing and playing. The playground's haunting took a darker turn with stories of disappearances in the 20th century, when it was rumored that a mysterious figure lured children to the area, never to be seen again. Though these tales are likely urban legends, they have fueled the playground's eerie reputation. Paranormal investigators have captured strange anomalies here, including unexplained orbs of light and EVPs, suggesting the lingering presence of restless spirits. Beyond the playground, the cemetery itself is said to be a hotspot for ghostly activity. Visitors frequently see shadowy figures moving among the headstones. One common story involves sightings of a woman in white, often described as wandering the grounds in search of her lost loved ones. Others have claimed to feel sudden cold spots and an unnerving situation when one is alone. The feeling of being watched, especially near the older gravestones. The cemetery is also home to several unmarked graves, which some believe contribute to its hauntings. These forgotten souls, many of whom died during Huntsville's early days in the Civil War, are thought to be among the restless spirits that linger this area. Before we reveal our number one location, and since you made it this far, we would love for you to support this video and channel with a like. If you want to see more vids just like this, hit that subscribe button. Alright, now on to the number one spot. The Gainesville plantation, located near the small town of Gainesville, Alabama, is a shadow of its former grandeur. Once a thriving estate built in the early to mid-19th century, it stood as a testament to the wealth and power of plantation life in the South. The plantation was a hub of cotton production, relying on enslaved labor to generate its prosperity. However, like many grand estates of the era, Gainesville Plantation fell into decline following the Civil War, leaving behind not only its crumbling remains, but also its dark legacy of sorrow and suffering. The plantation is said to be haunted by the spirits of those who lived, suffered, and died there. Visitors and locals often report eerie sensations, strange sounds, and apparitions throughout the property. One of the most frequently told stories involves phantom voices, these whispers and cries that seem to rise in the night air. Many believe these are the echoes of the enslaved individuals whose anguish remains imprinted on the land. Another common sighting is that of a woman in a white dress, thought to be the spirit of the plantation owner's wife or daughter. She's been seen wandering near the ruins of the main house, her figure glowing faintly in the moonlight before vanishing into the shadows. Some believe her spirit is tied to a tragic love story or an untimely death, though all these details remain unclear. Visitors have also described hearing chains rattling or seeing the apparition of a man carrying a heavy burden, believed to represent the enslaved workers who once toiled on the plantation. The plantation cemetery, where both enslaved individuals and members of the plantation-owning family are buried, is another hot spot for ghostly encounters. People have reported seeing shadowy figures here moving among the gravestones, hearing faint hymns or chants in the distance. The cemetery's atmosphere is often described as heavy and oppressive, with many visitors leaving abruptly due to the overwhelming sense of unease. We would love to hear from you. Which one of these locations would you visit? Which one would you avoid at all cost? And did we miss a haunted location you think should be on our list? Let's hear from you. If you have had any experiences at any of these locations, tell us about them below in the comment section.